Yes, good afternoon, all of you. And I re-welcome you all to this post-lunch session of today's seminar on GST. Now, the post-lunch session will be dealt by CA Maddi Rajesh. Now, I request the chairperson of Vijayawada branch to please come on to the desk. And also, I request CA Maddi Rajesh to please come on to the desk. Right. And I request CA Suresh Jain to give a book only to the speaker, Maddi Rajesh garu. So friends, let me say a few words about CA Maddi Rajesh. He is a chartered accountant by profession, also a cost accountant and a company secretary by qualification, and he is a teacher by choice, right? He is an outstanding performer throughout his academics and secured all India ranks. He is one of the faculties of GST training selected by the Indirect Tax Committee of ICI. He was also a member of user acceptance test team of GSTN. He has extensive exposure in indirect taxes for more than 9 years across various sectors. He has added various GST impact assessments on various industries during the implementation of GST. And he is an active contributor of articles to GST Law Times and other leading websites relating to various indirect tax topics. He is a member of a state level trade advisory committee constituted by SGST Department of Andhra Pradesh, currently heading Vijayawada branch of a leading chartered accountants firm practice in indirect taxes. He is an active speaker in seminars organized by branch chapters of ICI, trade associations, and study circles. So with this brief, I hand over the session to CA Rajesh Maddi. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, done. Telugu madam, English madam. Any mix. Okay. So E-way bill, E-invoice. So E-way bill start చేద్దామా? బ్రేక్ లో కావాల్సిన వాళ్ళు E-invoice అవసరం లేని వాళ్ళు వెళ్ళిపోవచ్చు. సార్ E-way బిల్ అంట ప్రేక్షకుల డిమాండ్. So అటు ఇటుగా 2:30 అయింది. So we'll take around 1 hour for E-invoice, maybe some 15 minutes for break, 1 more hour for E-way bill. So then some half an hour, if you have questions, so many questions you can ask in half an hour. So that we'll close the session by 5. So even though I started late, I'm leaving you by 5. So the topic today allocated to me is issues in E-way bill and also understanding E-invoice. Issues in E-way bill. First of all, before knowing the issues in E-way bill, so when it is required, what is E-way bill, that we'll discuss. one thing, since we have very few people here, so I'll be asking many questions, because many things I know little bit. So when you answer those questions, so we'll get clear. By way of question answers, we'll complete this session. So any idea about e-way bill? What is e-way bill? Full form of e-way bill. Full form. Electronic way bill. So what is e-way bill? When it is to be raised? When is to be issued? Any idea? Goods. Goods travel on the road. Okay. Movement of goods. Okay. Movement of goods value exceeds 50,000. That's all. 5. Yes, sir. Movement of goods more than 50,000. Some car is going, Audi car is going. Value of Audi car is 60 lakhs. Movement, moving Audi car. So way bill required. Car is a good, sir. Huh? Car is a good, sir. So if it is supply of goods, we need way bill. Huh? If it is supply of goods, we need way bill. So my head office is in Vijayawada. My branch office is in Vizag. I am sending goods worth 20 lakhs to Vizag office. So both are under same registration. Do you need a way bill? Sir, it is not a supply, sir. Both are same registration, head office to branch office. If it is in other state, then it is a supply. If it is same state, where is it supply? Is it a supply first? Movement of goods within a state from one place of business to another place of business. You can take it as Vijayawada is main place of business, principal place of business, and Vizag is additional place of business. So any movement of goods from Vijayawada to Vizag, both are under same GSTN. Is it a supply of goods or not? Are we clear? Not a supply of goods? Any doubt? We need to charge GST and all? Same transaction, if I'm sending some goods with the same PAN, the registration is in Tamil Nadu. So then it is supply. So then it is supply as per section 25 subsection 4. So supply of goods or services between distinct persons. So distinct persons madhya aithe supply avutundi. So same state lo same registration unte it is not a supply. So someone told that it is a supply, that's why we need to raise the way bill. So when it is not a supply, do we still need to raise the way bill when I'm sending goods worth 20 lakhs from Vijayawada to Vizag? We have to raise. Okay. Clear? Any doubt? So now we will conclude. Who has to raise? Registered person. Registered person has to raise for any movement of goods. Either it is supply or not supply. Value should be more than 50,000 kilometers. Any kilometers is there? Next state పంపించిన వే బిల్ రైజ్ చేయాలా?
కాల్ చేస్తే ఆయన కూడా నేను ఇప్పుడు హైదరాబాద్ పంపించమంటావా అని పంపిండి అన్నా మరి ఎవరు రేపు నీకు పంపిస్తాడు ఆయన. అది అదే అదే ఇందాక అడుగుతున్నారు అదే
ఏరోప్లేన్ సార్.
అవును చెప్పారు కదా అదే అనుకున్నా.
రోడ్స్ అన్నావు కదా
ఇవాళ కార్యక్రమం.
సో ఈ క్వశ్చన్ అన్నిటికీ ఆన్సర్ నెక్స్ట్ హాఫ్ అన్ అవర్ తెలుస్తాయి.
ఇంకొద్దులే.
In general, if you tell that okay, raise sale invoice means what our Indian mentality or what our people will do after goods received by the recipient, they'll tear the invoice. So that is the thing people will do. That is the thing people have done. Considering that, so there should be some mechanism. There should be some mechanism to authenticate a transaction. So to authenticate the movement of goods. So e-way bill is nothing but authentication of movement of goods. I'm repeating, it is for movement of goods, not for supply of goods. There is so much difference between supply and movement. Movement means movement. అది రైల్ ద్వారానా షిప్ ద్వారానా ఏరోప్లేన్ ద్వారానా దట్ విల్ డిస్కస్ లేటర్ హౌ వి షుడ్ జనరేట్ అండ్ సో మూమెంట్ ఆఫ్ గూడ్స్ ఉంటే చేయాల్సిందే ఈవే బిల్ డిజిటల్ ఈవే బిల్ వచ్చింది మనకి ఏప్రిల్ 2018 నుంచి మ్యాండేటరీ చేశారు. April 2018. So before April 2019, if anyone gets notice saying that why can't you raise the e-way bill and all, then you can say that it is came only of effect from 1/4/2018. There is no need before for raising way bill. But before that period, there is something called the Andhra Pradesh way bill. So many states started raising way bill for two way bills for between within Andhra, one way bill. If it is interstate, one more way bill should be there. So that we are not discussing. That is with before 1/4/2018. So when we should raise the way bill? So way bill should be raised prior to commencement of movement of goods. Prior to commencement or movement of goods. That movement is in relation to supply or for reasons other than supply. So if it is movement is there, we need to raise e-way bill. If movement is not there, we need not to raise way bill. Clear? Now one more doubt. So I have a laptop belongs to me. I sold it to Loknatham sir. Sir, this laptop you can take it, sir. This laptop is 50,000 rupees. So Loknatham sir took it, this laptop. He is working here only. I put laptop here only. So do I need to raise way bill? No movement. No need to raise. I have a good one. My stock worth 10 lakhs is there in the good one. I sold it to Madhusudan. 10 lakh worth stock, I sold it to Madhusudan. I gave the keys of the warehouse. I told Madhusudan, you go and take the warehouse. In that warehouse, my stock is there. The 10 lakh stock worth belongs to you. I'm raising the sale invoice to you. You pay me this amount and take the stock from there itself. Is there any need to raise way bill?
Okay.
From where to where you will raise invoice, sir? Where will? No, goods there only. I gave only key of the good. Ownership changes from me. Like I raise the invoice. I raised the invoice, tax invoice. I charge the GST. It is a supply. It is a supply, but doesn't involve movement of goods. Should I need to raise way bill? No need. So this is the things we need to inform to all the tax departments. So what the tax departments are doing, they are taking whatever your inward turnover in way bill, whatever your outward turnover in way bill, and comparing with your GST 2A and comparing with your purchases, whatever their outward, like outward way bills, how much you have generated, comparing with your sales and all. So the first thing we need to communicate, way bill is for movement of goods. Invoice is for supply of goods. So if there is any supply of goods, and if there is a supply of goods, if I don't raise the way bill, then there is an issue. If there is no movement of goods, I need not to raise way bill. Clear? So this is the first difference. So most of us thinking that way bill needs to be raised for all supplies, or most of the movement of the goods needs way bill. So first thing we need to keep it in mind, way bill is required when there is a movement of goods, irrespective whether it is a supply, non-supply. Clear? We'll move forward. So who has to generate way bill? So registered person. When? Prior to commencement. So when, for what purpose? To authenticate the movement. That is for government perspective. For us, why? When and all we will be raising way bill. If there is, if it is only movement. So what is the condition? What is the value? So few states like Bihar and all, they have increased the internal transportation. Like for example, within the two places in Bihar, if I transport some goods, the limit is 1 lakh rupees. But in Andhra, we don't have anything like that. So in Andhra, if it is 50,000, the limit is 50,000 only. 50,000, if it is more than 50,000, we need to raise way bill. Few states like Tamil Nadu, Bihar and all, they have increased the limit to 1 lakh. Will come. So our Madhusudan asked out whether it is invoice value, taxable value. What is invoice value? What is taxable value? Taxable value plus taxes, invoice value. So for 50,000, we need to consider invoice value or taxable value. Invoice value. Invoice value means including taxes. So most of the places in CGST, it is taxable value. For example, aggregate turnover. Aggregate turnover, what we will consider? Taxable value only. We won't consider tax amounts. For valuation under section 15, we'll consider only taxable value, not the taxes and all. So most of the places is only taxable value. But for e-way bill, it is including taxes. Invoice value, that means consignment value. So consignment value should be more than 50,000. Consignment value includes taxes, excludes value of exempted goods. So one small doubt, whether in one invoice, whether can we raise it taxable goods and exempted goods in one invoice? Then there is something called bill of supply. When we should raise bill of supply? All exempted. When it is all exempted, you need to raise bill of supply. When it is all taxable, you need to raise taxable invoice. When it is mixed, that is for only B2C. You don't have any option of raising for B2B transaction, taxable supplies and exempted supplies. There is no concept of raising in tax invoice. So you need to raise only separate tax invoice for all taxable supplies. For exempted supplies, you need to raise separately bill of supply. There is something called as tax invoice come bill of supply. That is only for B2C transactions. So why they have introduced that? So this D-Mart, Reliance, Reliance Fresh, all those things will be there. You will keep vegetables, you will keep salt, you will keep shampoos, everything will go and stand in the queue and you will get billed that amount. So if you tell that you need to raise separate tax invoice for bill of supplies, for a separate tax invoice for exempted supplies, we ourselves don't know what is exempted, what is taxable. If you ask that counter boy to segregate what are taxable supplies, what are exempted supplies, that will take 1 hour. Normally, that will wait for 10-15 minutes in the counter for billing only. If you tell the things, it will take 1 more hour. So for that practical problems, for all B2C supplies, they have given a concept of tax invoice come bill of supply. That is only for B2C. If it is any B2B transaction, only for taxable supplies, you need to raise tax invoice. For exempted supplies, you need to raise bill of supply. Clear? So when we consider the value as 50,000, there is two exceptions. Even though it is less than 50,000, we need to raise way bill. That is in case of job work. If you are sending to some other state, interstate job work, then you need to raise way bill even your value of the goods is less than value of the consignment is less than 50,000. Second thing, in case of handicraft goods, so interstate, so that those two cases, even though value is less than 50,000, you need to raise way bill. My consignment value is less than 50,000. Can I raise way bill? 40,000 only. Can I raise way bill? Yes, it is optional. You can raise way bill. So if it is value more than 50,000, it is compulsory. It doesn't mean that I can't raise way bill if it is less than consignment value is less than 50,000. Clear? Who has to generate way bill? So the person who causes the movement of goods. Here lays the issue. So who causes the movement of goods? I'll go to Hyderabad. I bought a laptop worth 1,50,000 with my Vijayawada GST registration number. I gave Vijayawada GST number. He charged IGST. That laptop, when I'm bringing from Hyderabad to Vijayawada, who has to, whether it is a movement of good or not? Laptop is a good or not? Okay. Is there any movement of good from Hyderabad to Vijayawada? Is there na? Two conditions satisfied. Value of the goods more than 50,000. So there is a supply. Value of supply is more than 50,000, and it is movement of goods are involved. Should I need to raise way bill?
చెప్పండి చెప్పండి అదే సినిమాలో ఉన్నాను.
Movement of goods ends. Correct, sir. డెలివరీ అక్కడ అయిపోతే ఆయన B2 ఆయన CGST SGST ఛార్జ్ చేయాలి కదా, ఆయన IGST ఎందుకు ఛార్జ్ చేశాడు?
ఓకే.
సో మనం రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ ఇచ్చామంటే ఆయన బిల్లింగ్ ఏ అడ్రస్ చేస్తాడు? విజయవాడ అడ్రస్ చేస్తాడు కదా. విజయవాడ అడ్రస్ చేసినప్పుడు మూవ్మెంట్ ఎట్లా? So in that case, the obligation is on the recipient to transport those goods. So if you strictly speak for the transaction, we need to raise way bill. The receiver should raise the way bill from Hyderabad to Vijayawada. Generally, people won't go to that extent under provisions under. So why I took this example? It is not always the supplier will raise in way bill. In case of all ex-works contracts, what do you mean by ex-works? Means the supplier's obligation will end at his factory premises. Factory gate, he will leave his obligation. So it is your obligation as a buyer to bring back those goods to your premises. In those cases and all, it is the person who causes the movement of goods. Who causes the movement of goods? Whether you are a supplier or recipient, you need to raise way bill. Clear? Any doubts?
It is only but B2B and B2C also. B2C there is no question. The recipient is B2C, there is no question.
No question, sir. B2B case,
Recipient is
who is causing the movement of goods? For your home, you bought a new refrigerator which costs around 60,000 from Sonovision. So generally Sonovision or whatever this electronic shops are there, na, they will raise the way bill and they will hand over in your home. So generally what they'll do, they do along with sale, they will also do installation also. Generally, if you see the along with invoice, they'll raise the way bill and they'll send it to you. It is B2C transaction only. So if it is strictly, sir, నా చేతికి ఇచ్చేయండి, నా ఇష్టం, నేను ఆడికి తీసుకెళ్తాను, ఆడికి తీసుకెళ్తాను, B2C transaction అయితే, then there is no obligation on the supplier to raise any way bill. Clear? In case of electronic commerce operators and all, they have given other provision for the raising way bill supplies, e-way bill. Like how you say, if you see the concept of Flipkart, they have one model called fulfillment model. Fulfillment model means you order some iPhone, for example. Mr. X supplies that iPhones. What they'll do, they'll take big warehouse. They'll keep 10-15 iPhones from Mr. X. They'll keep with them stock. Because they don't know, if I tell Mr. X to deliver to Mr. Y, how many days he will take. Flipkart wants to deliver on the same day or next day. What they'll do, Flipkart will bring and keep 10 goods of Mr. X in his warehouse, and whenever order comes, straight away he'll send it from his warehouse. So whenever this 10 items going to end, then he will ask, you send me 10 more items so that I'll send goods from here and all. In that case, your invoice will come from Mr. X, who may be situated in Rajasthan or some other place, but goods will come from Hyderabad, where this warehouse is situated. So when the goods are coming from Hyderabad to Vijayawada, invoice is coming from Haryana to Vijayawada. Who has to raise way bill? So there the provision given to Flipkart to raise a way bill on behalf of Haryana person. Clear? Any doubt? Little complex ainda. So ఇంకో ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తాను. ఇదే బిల్ టు షిప్ టు సప్లైస్ అంటారు. I imported some goods in Visakhapatnam. Goods came and laid in Visakhapatnam port. Those goods I need to supply it to Orissa. So what a normal person will do, he'll bring back those goods from Visakhapatnam port to Vijayawada, and he will take one more lorry and hire, and he'll send back from Vijayawada to Bhubaneswar, or how they will do? They'll send directly from Vizag port to Orissa. Can he do that? Huh? Can he do that? Okay, we'll change the port. He imported in Mumbai port. I don't have registration in Maharashtra. I need to send goods to Delhi. I'm in Vijayawada. Can I do that? Should I bring the goods which are imported in Mumbai to Vijayawada and then send it from Vijayawada to Delhi? Mumbai to Delhi, you can directly send. I don't have registration in Vijayawada, Mumbai. Is it okay? Invoice is different. Yeah, you can do it. So you are not carrying business from Maharashtra. You are just imported goods in Mumbai port, and sending goods to Delhi. It is movement is from Mumbai to Delhi, but supply is from Vijayawada only. So no question of taking registration in Maharashtra. So in that case, they have given a facility. What facility they have given? Supply is from Vijayawada, dispatch from Bombay, dispatch to Delhi, bill to Delhi, ship to Delhi. Same address. Bill to ship to same address. But bill from Vijayawada, ship from Mumbai. So they have given an option in e-way bill to cover these cases. Bill from, dispatch from. Bill to ship to in our case only same premises, Delhi premises. Clear? So we'll take bill to ship to case. So I got an order from Tamil Nadu saying to supply some Tamil Nadu telling to supply goods to Hyderabad. Order I got it from Tamil Nadu, but the consignee address he is telling to deliver in Hyderabad. Clear? Payment will be done by Tamil Nadu fellow. I only need to give the goods in Hyderabad. Can I do it first of all? So bill to whom? Ship to IGST or CGST, SGST? IGST. Both. Only one transaction or two transactions? Okay. అది వాళ్ళతో చూసుకుంటారు. అవసరం లేదు. One way bill is enough in case of bill to ship to transaction. So if you see the way bill format, we have part A and part B. What is part A? Part A, general information. What goods we are transporting, what goods from where to where you are transporting, what is the HSN code, what is the value of goods, whether you are transporting for supply, other than supply, on what document basis you are supplying, tax invoice, delivery challan, so bill of supply, whatever. So all those things will be there in that part A information. So part A information is nothing but you can get it from your invoice or DC or sir, why DC? Delivery channel. Why delivery channel? So in case of supplies, movement of goods where there is no supply, in those cases we need to transport those goods by way of delivery channel. In those cases there is no tax invoice. We need to transport those goods by using delivery channel. Part B. Part B talks about mode of transport and vehicle details. So if it is by road, you need to give the registration number of the motor vehicle. If you if it will transport to rail, you need to give RR receipt number or airway bill number in case of airway bill in case of air. చెప్తాను సార్ వస్తుంది. So what is the validity? Sir, we'll come to that. What is the validity? Validity up to 200 kilometers, it is 1 day. If it is other than ODC, ODC means over dimensional cargo, over dimensional cargo, the big vehicles where we are seeing in national highways. Na? So if it is over dimensional cargo, you will get 1 more day extra. If I need to transport some goods to Ongole, which is 150 kilometers from here. If I raise way bill now, when it will end? 24 hours. So tomorrow 3 o'clock. Today's midnight. So you need to consider tomorrow midnight. So time starts from today's midnight. So 1 day means tomorrow midnight. Up to tomorrow midnight, I can transport those goods. So if it is within 200 kilometers. So everywhere when you are calculating the day when you generated e-way bill, that you can ignore it. So that day night at 12 o'clock, the time limit starts. In case of any involvement of ship, you need the time limit is 20 kilometers per day. The time limit is 20 kilometers. However, there are some exceptions. There is no need to generate way bill. So what sir told some, if I transport to rickshaw or bullock cart, so there is no need to raise any way bill, non a motor vehicle. So this is also one condition we need to keep it in mind when we are saying that departments are giving a comparative report with way bill and GST returns. We can tell that, sir, once it is received, if I can able to prove that those goods are received, I have GR and all those things, there is no need of comparison of my way bill report. Department may say that your way bill shows that you have received only 50 lakhs rupees of goods. Your inward report is only 50 lakhs, but your purchases are 1 crore rupees. Balance why 50 lakhs? I will disavow the credit, saying that you have not received the goods. So those cases we need to reply to department saying that way bill is for movement of goods. So you can't compare inward way bills with my purchases. I can receive it through rickshaw. Na? What is there? Any non-motor conveyance, I need not to raise any way bill. So if you are sending by auto, so auto is motor vehicle, you need to raise way bill. So rickshaw only is allowed. So which doesn't have any registration number. But you won't have any registration number. It is not a motor vehicle as per Motor Vehicles Act.
Rajesh garu, maybe the expiry in 8 hours.
Sir.
8 hours అవ్వలేదు.
Carriage movement.
వాటి వలన అవుతుంది. అయిపోయింది. ఇంకా 8 hours ఉంది నాకు, తర్వాత కూడా తీసుకున్నాను. ఉందనుకోండి, పట్టుకుంటే ప్రాబ్లమా లేకపోతే నాకు
ప్రాబ్లమ్ సార్.
అయిపోయింటే పర్వాలేదు.
ఆగిపోయింది. మీ దగ్గర యాక్టివ్ వే బిల్ ఉండాలి. బట్ కోర్ట్స్ వాటిని కన్సిడర్ చేసింది సార్. మీ వాట్ సార్ ఈస్ సేయింగ్, I can extend way bill within 8 hours. Before expiry also I can extend 8 hours before expiry and 8 hours after expiry. So 12ంటికి అయిపోతుందంటే మార్నింగ్ 8 లోపల నేను ఎక్స్టెన్షన్ పెట్టుకోవచ్చు. ఏ రీజన్ అయితే వల్ల కానీ if I can't able to reach the destination, I can extend my way bill time period. So whether after this time period expired, if I'm transporting those goods, if the department officials catches the vehicle, is there any issue? So they'll certainly raise the issue and they'll start detention proceedings and as per section 129. So but 3 or 4 cases department high courts given a judgment saying that once you caught the vehicle, he has produced the extension way bill because he is within 8 hours period where you have given extension time period. So there won't be any detention proceedings or there won't be any contravention as per GST Act. So they held to release the consignment. So there first thing what we need to consider, sir, this judgments and all we need to consider in case of litigation. But as far as consultation is concerned, always you should be conservative. So if any clients ask that whether I can transport the goods within 8 hours means you say that no, you can't transport, you need to extend the way bill, then only you can transport. So if still if he caught and he came to you means then I can use the judgment saying that I'll show the departments this is the judgment we have in favor of us so that you can release the vehicle by considering this judgment. So what and all not required? So postal baggage by Department of Post. Department of Post, if they are transporting any goods, they need not to have way bill. Used personal effects. So this used personal effects means by using this thing, one Kerala High Court gave a favor in favor of the SSC. So what the SSC done, he bought a Ferrari car in Kerala from Pondicherry. So he bought a Ferrari car from Pondicherry. So since the registration charges are less in Pondicherry, so he registered in Pondicherry and he's bringing those along with invoice to Kerala. Now the department caught that car and saying that boss, this is nothing but movement of goods whose value is more than 50,000. So you need to follow. There is no way bill for this. You need to raise way bill. Since there is no way bill, I'm seizing this vehicle. So the SSC went to Kerala High Court saying that, boss, I bought this car. No problem in that. So once I bought this car, this became a personal effect. So no question of transport of goods and all. So once it became personal effect, I have an exemption in this 138 rule. So there is no need to generate any way bill. So there is one more called jewelry also. Presently, there is no way bill as far as jewelry is concerned. Jewelry means gold, silver, everything, precious metals, everything. But bullion means
What is this?
everything, which are falling under chapter 71, 72. But recently, 2 months back, government told that if any state wants way bill for gold, they can implement that. So presently, Andhra Pradesh not implemented way bill for gold. So if we implement for gold means we need to raise way bill for in case of movement of gold also. So when the transport is between so when you are sending, we have ICD. So whatever exports we need to do, we can give it in ICD. From ICD, they will send the goods to Krishnapatnam or Chennai. From there, goods will be exported. So our obligation is to give the goods up to ICD. Guntur ICD will give the goods. So in between from Guntur to Krishnapatnam or Guntur to Chennai, so it is not our obligation. It will transport under the supervision of customs officials. So once we hand over the goods at Guntur ICD, they lock the consignment, that container, whatever it is there, it will be locked. So in those cases, whenever any transport up to Guntur ICD, we need to raise way bill. From Guntur ICD to Chennai or Krishnapatnam or wherever those goods are going, there is no need for way bill. Exempted goods other than tea oil cake. So many people are asking this doubt. So, sir, whether we need to raise way bill for exempted goods. Once the goods are exempted, you need not to raise any way bill. So only way bill is required only for de-oiled cake. So de-oiled cake, even though it is exempted, if the value of the transportation is more than 50,000, you need to raise way bill. All other goods which are exempted by 2/2017, you need not to raise any way bill.
Why, what is the reason?
for exempted goods or DI'd cake? DI'd cake earlier it was not there, sir. Later they have added. I think they have observed on all India basis there is little evasion in the name of DI'd cake they're doing other transportation something they're doing. So considering that they have implemented this thing.
Movement authentication అన్నారు.
ట్యాక్స్ లేదుగా, ట్యాక్స్ ఉండదుగా, ట్యాక్స్ వేషన్ ఉండదు.
సార్ ట్యాక్స్ ఉండదు కదా సార్ ఎగ్జామ్టెడ్ గూడ్స్ కి. సో మనంతా రైస్ అంతా పంపిస్తూ ఉంటారు కదా సార్, రైస్ ఇక్కడ నుంచి తమిళనాడు అంతా పంపిస్తారు కదా, వాటి అన్నిటికి ఏమి వేబిల్ ఏమి అవసరం లేదు. ప్లస్ మన సైడ్ బాగా ఇది అగ్రికల్చర్ బాగా ఫేమస్ కదా, ఈ ష్రింప్ రొయ్యల చెరువుల నుంచి ప్లాంట్ కి తెచ్చుకుంటారు కదా. ష్రింప్ ఫ్రమ్ పాండ్ టు ప్లాంట్ దెర్ ఇస్ నో నీడ్ ఫర్ వేబిల్. బట్ ప్లాంట్ నుంచి పోర్ట్కి వెళ్తుంది అనుకోండి, సో ప్లాంట్ నుంచి పోర్ట్కి వెళ్ళేటప్పుడు దట్ విల్ బికమ్ ఫ్రోజన్ ఫుడ్. ఫ్రోజన్ ఫుడ్ అయితే ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ taxable goods, then you need to raise వేబిల్. సో ఆల్కహాల్ ఫర్ హ్యూమన్ కన్సంప్షన్, పెట్రోల్, క్రూడ్ వాటికి కూడా ఏమి వేబిల్ ఏమి అవసరం లేదు. సో ఎందుకంటే అవి GST లేవు కాబట్టి. షెడ్యూల్ 3 ఐటమ్స్ లో ఏమన్నా సంబంధించిన గూడ్స్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్టేషన్ ఏమైనా చేస్తే వాటికి కూడా వేబిల్ ఏమి అవసరం లేదు. సో దీంట్లో జనరల్ గా అసలు దీంట్లో ఏం పడవు. గూడ్స్ ఫాలింగ్ అండర్ షెడ్యూల్ 3. నెక్స్ట్ థింగ్, many people are under misconception that if it is within 20 kilometers I need not to raise waybill, or if it is within 50 kilometers I need not to raise waybill. So there is no provision under GST accepting like within this many kilometers there is no need for waybill at all. So within 20 kilometers aithe only for the purpose of weighment purpose you can send without payment, without filing, without raising waybill. Only for weighment you can send within 20 kilometers. That too you need to have delivery challan. Weighment purpose ki delivery channel to within 20 kilometers from where you are sending, so it should be within 20 kilometers. Only those cases there is an exception.
డెలివరీ చేయాలంటే అకౌంట్స్ లో మనం ఏం రాయకలేదు కదా,
అవసరం లేదు సార్. But if you see your GSTR1 in table 13, there is something called what are the documents you have issued. There also one document is nothing but how many delivery challans you have issued. So there also you need to give it that reference. If you have given, no worries. No worries. Correct, sir. Sir, one thing, whatever needed in our books of accounts, it should be a transaction. So if it is a transaction only, you will account in your books of accounts. So for waybill, it is a movement. So there is a complete difference between your books of accounts and waybill. When you need to raise books of account, entering books of accounts, when you need to raise waybill, complete different. So empty cargo containers also there is no need for waybill. LPG cylinders also they have given exception. There is one more provision. If I am sending the goods to, for example, if I am sending goods to Chennai through Navata Transport, the value of goods is 1 lakh rupees. What I will do, I will transport my 1 lakh rupees worth goods to Navata Transport. Navata Transport will send the goods to Chennai. So who has to raise waybill? I should raise waybill or Navata Transport should raise waybill? Huh? Supplier is registered only. So here we need to see it. So part A, generally supplier will fill the data. Part A, he has the invoice, na? Whatever goods I'm sending to Chennai, he has the details. Part A will be filled by supplier. Part B, Navata fellow, on which vehicle he is sending goods to Chennai, we don't know. So what we'll do, we'll assign, after filling part A, we'll assign to transporter. So that Navata transport, he will update the part B, which vehicle he is sending, all those things. Sometimes we can tell Navata only to raise part A and part B. There won't be any problem. So we can raise way bill, or transporter also can raise way bill. For transporting goods from taxpayer premises to Navata transporter premises, we need not to fill part B because we don't know what vehicle he would be sending. But part A should be compulsory. Clear? So you can't say that within 50 kilometers I need not to raise way bill and all. You need to raise way bill. Part A you should fill it. Part B is optional. Clear? So I repeat one more time. With respect to transporting goods to courier agency or transport agency, the distance between registered person and the transport agency is less than 50 kilometers. So part A is mandatory, part B not required to fill. Same case with respect to delivery also. That means from the transport premises to recipient premises, if it is below 50 kilometers, part A is enough, part B not required to fill. Clear? So recently, last year, government started tracking all the way bills through FASTag. So many cases of fraud happened by using this fake invoice thing and all. Fake invoice means without involving movement of goods, straight away simply you will raise the invoice and he will take the credit and he will raise the invoice. Buyer will take, but there won't be any movement of goods or any involvement of goods, only paper transaction. So to stop this, government started doing linking of FASTag with waybill. So if you are transporting any goods, or if there is no transportation after waybill being generated, so waybill, if it waybill would be there, but there is no transportation of goods. Recently, maybe around 10 days back, I have received a case of Guntur, wherein they have held a credit of 15 crore. So department, they have gone one step ahead. What they have done, they send a letter to NHA, saying that these are the way bills. You send me whether these way bills transported through this Guntur toll plaza and Nellur toll plaza. There is in between Vijayawada and Ongole, one more toll plaza is there. Whether these goods are transported through these toll gates. So that Nahai replied saying that out of these many vehicles only cleared to these toll gates. So these many vehicles not cleared to these toll gates. Then this officer straight away, not only those vehicles which are not passed, he denied full credit of 15 crores, saying that your company itself, fraud company, saying that you have not availed, you have availed all the credit wrongly and all. So by speaking with that client, I got to know that is a fake transaction only. Then I told that, sir, I can't take this case and all. So you can choose some other consultant and all. So this is the thing. This is not there maybe around 1 or 2 years back. But departmental officers now they are sending directly to letters to NHA asking whether these vehicles transported to toll gates or not. So you need to substantiate saying that there is some other route where toll gates are not there, and you need to get a GRN from the recipient company. So you can prove it, but it is little difficult when you don't transport the goods at all. So even the way bill is there, one of the condition as per section 16 is that you need to receive the goods for availment of credit. If you don't receive the credit, you can't avail credit. So even the way bill is there, there could be chances that you may not receive the goods. So that is a thing we need to keep it in mind.
బ్యాంక్ సిసి కావాలంటే 1/5 ఆఫ్ టర్న్ ఓవర్ ఇస్తారు. టర్న్ ఓవర్ 10 కోట్లు 2 కోట్లు కావాలంటే 10 కోట్లు ఉంటాయి. మీరు వాడికి ఉంటాడు వాడి వీడికి ఉంటాడు, ఎదురు బదులు అమ్ముకుంటూ ఉంటారు.
That you can do it, sir, but there should be movement of goods. So if you don't have any movement of goods, it will become only book transaction means, then you'll have one case of this.
బ్యాంక్ లోన్ కూడా చేస్తాం.
Is there some mistake happened while generating e-way bill? What we should do? Is there any question of amendment? You can only cancel and raise a new way bill. So no question of amendment of way bill. That and all you need to explain by using these provisions. Now I got one doubt. I have raised an invoice for sending goods to Chennai for 1 lakh rupees. So Chennai being some 400 kilometers, I got some 5 days time. Because of some breakdown of the vehicle in between near Nellore, the vehicle stopped. So the repair took around 3 to 4 days. My way bill expired. And 8 hours also expired. From Nellore to Chennai, I need to transport those goods. So what should I do? I need to raise one more way bill. But one more way bill, if I need to raise with the same invoice, it won't take. Extend time limit within 8 hours. My extension time also over. Which cancellation, sir? Way bill cancellation, invoice cancellation. Cancellation 24 hours, within 24 hours we need to cancel. Already 4 days over, 5 days, 6 days over.
Can request the commission.
Request the commissioner to extension. They have given 8 hours, na, that you didn't utilize. That also expired. Any guess what we should do? The same supplier, same invoice number, it is not accepting more than once in a financial year. So in our case, when the goods are situated at Nellore, when the vehicle is situated at Nellore and way bill is expired, I need to generate one more way bill saying that the earlier way bill already expired. Delivery challenge, it is a supply, na? So there is something called in way bill. With the same invoice, we cannot generate way bill, but we can put one dot and we can generate one more way bill. So the same case, a few cases where we have suggested to put a dot at the end at the starting and generate one more way bill and inform that range officer, because here in our case only one invoice number will be there, two way bills will be there. That fellow says that you have issued 2 way bills, you pay tax twice and all. So for that reason, we are intimating to department saying that this is the reason we can't able to generate one more way bill on the same invoice number. This is why we have put a dot and generated one more way bill for the same invoice. So we are paying tax only once. So by conveying this thing, many times we think that if we convey department, why we should bring one more issue of informing department, why we want to drag them into our this thing and all. But this will help us a lot when in case of future when there is any issue. So once if you inform this thing, that means that we don't have any fraudulent intention. Clear? Credit note, there is credit note as per section 34. If there is any deficiency of goods, if there is a return of goods, only we can issue credit note. So in this case, when the buyer itself not received the goods, what he will tell, why I will account my purchase and why I will account credit note here? I won't account my purchase, I won't account my credit note and all he will tell. So that's the problem.
సో న్యాయంగా అయితే దానికి అసలు రికార్డ్స్ లేదు.
లేదు సార్. No recourse. One more thing, I have raised invoice today, but due to some issues, buyer told that boss hold those goods with you only. I will tell you when to send those goods. I will send those goods after 4 or 5 days. When to raise way bill? Today or after 4 or 5 days? I didn't raise way bill. I'm asking first of all whether today I need to raise way bill or 5 days afterwards way bill. Huh? So invoice will be today's date, na? So moment started only after 5 days. We need to raise way bill once the moment commences. So that means after 5 days only we need to raise way bill. I filled the part A. Way bill also I raised. I filled the part A. Then buyer told that boss wait. I'll tell you when to send and all. So what I should do? After 5 or 6 days, he told me that okay, boss, you send it now. I filled part A, but I didn't fill part B. What should I do? Huh? He told after 5 days, na sir. So the time limit of that 1 day for 200 kilometers starts from part B filling. So not from part A filling. So once you fill the part B only, this time limit starts. So in our case, when the buyer says that in our case we have filled only part A, we haven't filled part B. So part B, once we fill the part B only, then the time limit starts. So they have given a time limit of 15 days from part A to part B. If you generate part A today, we have time of 15 days to fill the part B. Once you fill the part B, then only our time limit of 200 kilometers per day, all those things will start. Clear? There is something called CKD, SKD, semi knocked down, complete knockdown shipments under. So when I are seeing highways, one consignment, some big consignments will take some 10 vehicles, but only one invoice. One invoice, 10 consignments. How many way bills we should raise? Oh. Consolidated way bill. This we'll discuss. One way bill or 10 way bills? 10 consignments, only one invoice. So what it is saying that consignment value should be more than 50,000. Once consignment value is more than 50,000, you need to raise way bill. But as I told, way bill will take only one invoice only. If you are entering second time, same invoice number, then it will tell that boss, you can't generate way bill because already you have raised the way bill for this invoice. You got my point? One invoice, 10 consignments. How many way bills we should generate? 10. Then document what you will mention. Document, if you mention invoice, na, first time it will take, second time it will tell that boss, this for this invoice you have already generated way bill. Adi 10 దాంట్లో సార్ ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటంటే 16 డిజిట్లు అది యాక్సెప్ట్ చేసేది, మరి 10 డాట్లు పెడితే ఆడ సార్. So in such cases, they have given a procedure. So you need to raise 10 way bills for each consignment. For each one way bill for each consignment, you need to raise 10 delivery challans. 10 delivery challans you need to raise. Based on the delivery challan, you can raise way bill. But for all the delivery channels, you need to give a reference to invoice. So this is the invoice, invoice VIJ/2223/34 invoice. So like that, you need to give for all the 10 delivery challans a reference of invoice, and you need to raise 10 way bills. With the last consignment, you need to send this original invoice with the last consignment. In case of continuous supply of goods also, if I am supplying the cement to Polavaram project, take a case of I am supplying cement to Polavaram project. For each lorry, if I am sending one invoice means one way bill means so many invoice I need to raise. So what the supplier will do, boss, this month and all I will supply cement, whatever you needed. At the end of the month, I will raise one invoice. I can't be raising for each lorry one invoice and all. So in those cases also, I need to send goods by using delivery challan. Only at the end of the month, the last consignment with the original invoice, I need to send the goods with the original invoice. Huh? Last consignment, sir. And continuous supply అవసరం లేదు, sir. I'm talking about only one consignment, multiple consignments. One invoice, multiple consignment. Em sir ఇందాక చెప్తున్నారు. చేయొచ్చు సార్, కాకపోతే ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటంటే అది సప్లై ఆఫ్ గుడ్స్ కదా. వన్స్ ద సప్లై ఆఫ్ గుడ్స్ యూ షుడ్ హ్యావ్.
నేను తీయడానికి డెలివరీ చలాన్ తప్పితే నాకు లేదని
చెప్పుకోవచ్చు అంతే సార్. సార్ అక్కడ సొల్యూషన్ లేదు. సో నాకు దొచ్చింది నేను చేశాను, మీకు దొచ్చింది మీరు చేయండి. సో బట్ ఏ చేసినా కానీ ఇంటిమేట్ we need to intimate to department saying that we have done like that. You can raise delivery challan, you can transport through delivery challan.
Each invoice
ఒకే లారీలో పంపిస్తున్నారా? కన్సైన్మెంట్ వాల్యూ మోర్ దెన్ 50,000. That's why I'm asking consignment, not value invoice. Consignment అంటే then not required. Total consignment, not invoice. 3 invoices కలిపి చూడాలి అప్పుడు. Then you need to raise 3 invoices, 3 way bills, sorry. You need to see the consignment values, sir, not the when you are sending all the 3 invoices through one consignment, one lorry or one vehicle, then you need to see the consignment value should be more than 50,000. If it is more than 50, you need to raise way bill. All these transport fellows, so they have an option called consolidated way bill. So I'll be giving value worth 10,000 rupees to him, Navata Transport. Some other will come and he'll give some 20,000 rupees value worth. They won't be raising way bill. Because I tell that boss, this is 10,000 only, why I should raise way bill under. But when you see the vehicle in which he is transporting, that consignment is more than 50,000, then he need to raise way bill while transporting the goods. So transporter, they have a separate login, they have a separate concept of raising consolidated way bill also. So if this vehicle have some 5 to 6 way bills means he can raise one consolidated vehicle for the whole the lorry. వే బిల్ ఎప్పుడు బ్లాక్ అవుతుంది? ఎనీ ఐడియా? ఎన్ని మంత్స్? 1 or 3B?
2 months.
So if you don't file the 3B for 2 months, your way bill will be blocked. How to unblock way bill?
Till return, go to e-way site, put your GST and
So file the returns. So it will take maybe 1 day to update. If you don't want, now only you want to unblock means you go to Waybill portal, put your registration number, refresh it. So it will take the data from your GST portal saying that once your returns are updated, it will automatically unblock your Waybill portal. So that if you don't file 2 months returns, automatic update, automatic blocking of Waybill started around 2 years back onwards. So for unblocking that thing, you need to file your returns till date. So not more, the pending should not be more than 2 months. Have you checked? Can we file all once without 3Bs? GSTR once without 3Bs? Without? So this is started around 4 to 5 months back. Now you can't open the 3B tile also. If you see in the GST portal, if I want to file for November GST 3B, if I click November GST 3B tile, it will say that you file November GST 1, then only it will open. 3B tile is opening only one is filed. So this is the recent update. Last 2 months onwards, this is started. So you can't open the tile only. Forget about filing.
3 months pending only, 2 months. Maybe unlock like that.
I did. So what are the documents to be carried by transporter who is transporting the goods? So you need to carry invoice, delivery invoice, bill of supply or delivery channel along with the way bill. So can he carry electronic way bill, no physical way bill? Is it fine? Yes, it is fine. So you can carry electronic way bill. You need not to carry physical e-way bill. So even if you see the electronic way bill, it will have that QR code thing where the department officials can scan your way bill, and he can able to see in his system from where these goods are transporting, all the details which you have given in part A and part B, he can able to see it in his portal login. There is some contravention. So I have to raise a way bill, but I have not raised way bill. So what are the options available to me? So first thing, once you accepted that I need to raise way bill, but you have not raised way bill means 200% of tax amount as penalty you need to pay. 200% of tax amount. So once you pay the 200% of tax amount, then you can they will give MOV file. MOV file is nothing but release order. You can take those goods to your home. So if you don't want to pay the penalty, if you want to fight the case, then first thing you can execute a bank guarantee and release the goods. Then you file an appeal against the order which he has given. So you need to go to appeal and file the order whatever he has given. That is one. సార్ ఇప్పుడు ఈ వే బిల్ వేసేటప్పుడు చిన్న చిన్న మిస్టేక్స్ జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి. సో దానికోసం గవర్నమెంట్ కి ఏమి ట్యాక్స్ ఏమి ఇంపాక్ట్ రావట్లేదు. సో దానికి కూడా ఎందుకు సార్ 200% ఆఫ్ ట్యాక్స్ అమౌంట్ కట్టాలి? సో అవే చిన్న మిస్టేక్స్, క్లరికల్ మిస్టేక్స్ జనరల్ గా జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి కదా. సో వై వీ షుడ్ పే ట్యాక్స్ ఫర్ దట్ 200% ఆఫ్ పెనాల్టీ ఫర్ ద స్మాల్ మిస్టేక్స్ ఆల్సో. So government has given a circular saying that these small mistakes you need not to pay 200% of penalty. You can pay only 1,000 rupees of penalty and release your conveyance. What are those small mistakes? Spelling mistakes. Spelling mistakes in the name of the consignor, consignee, but GST number should be correct. Spelling mistakes even unte, so mana emi 200% పెనాల్టీ ఏం కట్టక్కర్లేదు. అడ్రస్లు కూడా ఏమైనా తప్పులు ఉన్నా కానీ ఏం ప్రాబ్లం లేదు. బట్ లొకాలిటీ షుడ్ బి ద సేమ్. అంటే అడ్రస్ లో తప్పులు ఉంటే పర్లేదంటే విజయవాడ అడ్రస్ తీసుకెళ్లి ఒంగోలులో పెట్టడం, ఒంగోలు నెల్లూరులో పెట్టడం అలా ఏం కాదు. సో ఆ లొకాలిటీ అడ్రస్ అయితే సరిపోతుంది. 4 digit HSN ఫస్ట్ టూ డిజిట్స్ కరెక్ట్ గా ఉండి 4 digits కానీ 6 digits కానీ రాంగ్ లో ఉంటే ఆ కేసులో కూడా రేట్ ఆఫ్ ట్యాక్స్ సేమ్ అయితే, సో రేట్ ఆఫ్ ట్యాక్స్ 18% వేసాము. సో బట్ మనం 2 digits కరెక్ట్ గా వేసాము. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఐరన్ ఉంది, ఐరన్ ఈజ్ కమింగ్ అండర్ 72. సో 73 72 మనం కరెక్ట్ గానే వేసాము. బట్ తర్వాత 4 digits వేసేటప్పుడు అవి మనం కరెక్ట్ గా వేయలేదు. సో బట్ రేట్ ఆఫ్ ట్యాక్స్ కరెక్ట్ గా వేసాం. అలాంటి కేసులో కూడా వీ నీడ్ నాట్ టు పే 200% పెనాల్టీ. పిన్ కోడ్ ఏమైనా తప్పుగేస్తే, సో పిన్ కోడ్ తప్పుగేసినా కానీ but it should not increase the validity of way bill. Validity of way bill 200 అంటే 200 kilometers లోపల వేస్తే దాని వల్ల మన validity of way bill ఇంక్రీజ్ అవ్వకపోతే సో అలాంటి కేసులో కూడా ఏం ప్రాబ్లం లేదు. సో డాక్యుమెంట్ లో ఏ నెంబర్ అయినా కానీ, ఇన్వాయిస్ నెంబర్ లో కానీ, బిల్ ఆఫ్ సప్లై నెంబర్ లో కానీ, డెలివరీ చలాన్ నెంబర్ కానీ ఏమన్నా 1 or 2 digits తప్పుగా మెన్షన్ చేస్తే, వెహికల్ నెంబర్ లో కూడా 1 or 2 digits. అందుకే ఇందాక నేను చెప్పాను కదా, ఇందాక డాక్యుమెంట్ లో చివరిలో ఒక డాటా లేదా ముందులో ఒక డాటా పెడుతుంటే, సో ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ దే కాట్ ఇట్, సో వీ కెన్ సే దట్ there is a mistake in document number less than 2 digits, so there is no problem, which is a minor lapse as per this. We can only pay only 1,000 rupees penalty prescribed under this circular. So vehicle number also they have given only 2 digits. So if you are mentioning more than 2 digits means then you will have to fight that case. So by considering these things, what are the big problems? When we will have a big issue or when we will have small issues? So first we'll discuss about the big issues. We have already discussed. We'll just revise this. So non-generation of way bill when it is required, that will become issue. So that will lead to detention proceedings or confiscation proceedings. Non-filling part B, only part A we filled, but part B we didn't fill. That is also nothing but not generation of way bill only. Part B fill cheyapothe way bill generate chesinate kaadu. So part B exception only they have given when transporting goods from a registered person to transporter. If it is within 50 kilometers, you need not to be fill part B. We can fill only part A. Error in pin code. So both the consignor pin code wrong వేయడం వల్ల it increases your validity of way bill means then there will be issue. Error more than 3 digits. They have given only 2 digits. Up to 2 digits they have given. If it is more than 2 digits, then you will have an issue. So acceptable errors we have already discussed. So address, the spelling mistakes in name, address, 1 or 2 digits of HSN codes, but the first 2 digits should be compulsory. It should be correct, and there is no change in rate. Whether multiple invoices can be clubbed in one way bill. Sir, you have asked that doubt. 3 invoices can be completed in one way bill. So no such concept. So for each invoice, we need to raise a separate way bill. No concept of consolidation. So how to generate if the goods are goods of one invoice being moved in multiple vehicles simultaneously? If the goods are moved in multiple vehicles, we have told we need to raise delivery challan as per section rule 55 of CGST rules, and at the end of the last lot of the consignment, you need to attach your original invoice, and each delivery challan should have a reference of invoice number in that delivery challan. Reference only sarbodu sir. So whether way bills required for generation of movement of goods billed as services such as works contract and completion of composites. Sorry, works contract composite supply. Sorry, as I told for Polavaram project, if I am transporting cement from one place to one place, it is the end thing what we are giving is only composite supply of service. So whether I need to raise way bill for transportation of cement. You got it? For transportation of cement, or for example, take a case of construction of a building. This building I want to construct. So I took a contract for 2 crore rupees for construction of this building. Cement is on my account only. That means contractor only should bring cement and he should construct. So I have my cement bag somewhere in Ben Circle. From Ben Circle to here, I need to bring that cement bags whose value is more than 50,000. So when I'm billing the client for this, I'll be raising invoice for service because construction service 2 crore rupees plus GST I'll raise. But when I'm sending the goods from Ben Circle to here, I need to bring the goods from Ben Circle to here by way of movement of goods. Should I raise way bill or not? Yes, way bill you need to raise it. So based on delivery challan, because it being a composite supply of this building construction, you can raise a way bill as and when based on the value of the goods. And one more thing, I am sending one small example. I am sending cloth for the purpose of stitching. The value of cloth I am sending for stitching is 60,000. So he stitched the shirts and he sent back to me. Nothing but I have sent for job work. 60,000 is the value of the cloth which I sent it to job worker. Job worker, he charges 30,000. 60,000 worth cloth I have sent to job worker. Job worker is charging 30,000 for the purpose of stitching the shirts. The shirts which he is sending back to me cost around 1,20,000. Now, when I'm sending the goods to job worker, will I need to raise way bill? Only that is for interstate, sir. Intrastate not. So, as I told, it is 60,000. I need to send by way of way bill and DC and way bill to job worker. Job worker charges only 30,000. Whether while he is sending back those goods to me, whether he has to raise way bill, he is sending only 30,000. His bill is only 30,000. Na? Correct. So he need to raise way bill. What is the value of that goods? 1,20,000 or 60,000 plus 30,000. 30 I am charging, na 30. Correct. Correct. But service involving movement of goods. So way bill not required. Yes, sir. డెలిచర్ ఎంత రేస్ చేయాలి సార్? అది డౌట్. 60,000. 60,000 వచ్చేటప్పుడు క్లాత్ వాల్యూ 60,000. ఇప్పుడు షర్ట్లు అయిపోయినాయిగా. So you need to see the market value of the goods you are transporting. If the market value of the goods is 1,20,000, you need to raise the delivery challan for 1,20,000 and send the goods by way of e-way bill. So you should not consider your job work charges for the purpose of way bill. For the purpose of way bill, the movement of goods is important. Whatever the value of the goods you are moving, that is the value of the goods. So you need to raise way bill. Yep.
Service provider unregistered again.
So there is one provision, sir. In case of movement of goods or supply of goods from unregistered to registered person, so registered person is the obligation to raise e-way bill. In case of any movement of goods from unregistered, in case of any supply of goods from unregistered person to registered person, then service registered person has to raise way bill. That is called as inward way bill. So he will raise not outward way bill, inward way bill. Supplier details he will give his name, the vendor name, and receiver details he will give his name.
The key break will depend on reading and
Unfortunate, sir. So there's a concept of sub-users in e-way bill system. So if you have many places, for example, in the state itself, if you have some 10-15 places, you can generate all 15 logins from 15 people, and you can raise from those sub-logins. So you need not to have only one login and all. So these case laws I have given for reference. So this material I'll be sharing. So which will have important judgment with respect to way bill, so that you can go through those things. So with this, we'll completed e-way bill. Any doubts with respect to way bill? Or I should only ask questions, some questions? Huh? I bought laptop from my opposite showroom. Vijay Digital is there opposite to my office. So I bought laptop from Vijay Digital showroom. I told that I'll take it to my office. So with my hand only, or in my bike, opposite showroom in my bike. So should I need to raise way bill for the laptop which I bought? Business purpose, sir. Huh? Not required, sir. Why, sir? I took that laptop even though my office is opposite to Vijay Digital. I took that laptop using my bike. That round I did using my bike. Or I took hand delivery. I went to my office directly. So if I take the delivery and straight away opposite only my office is there, I took it to my office. Way bill is required or not? No motor vehicle, no part B. So no way bill.
Bike is not.
Bike is a motor vehicle. Bike is a motor vehicle. If you transport to bike, you need to raise way bill.
Unregistered item.
Unregistered అవసరం.
రిజిస్టర్ కాదు సార్. మీరు అన్రిజిస్టర్డ్ అయినా అవసరం. ఏ రిజిస్టర్ అన్రిజిస్టర్డ్ అయినా అవసరం. కావాలి.
వాడు అక్కడ వదిలేసాడు ఫోన్స్.
సరిపోతుంది, అప్పుడేం అవసరం లేదు. Unregistered కాబట్టి plus it will become, once I am unregistered, it will become my personal effect.
Suppose you 6 or less than 20 lakhs and are not registered, but you are using it for your profession.
Correct. Even then, once I am not registered in the GST, that will become my personal effect.
So you use it for profession.
Correct. That car case, what I told, Ferrari car case. So there, the same issue they discussed. Okay, we'll break for the tea, and then we'll get back for e-invoicing.
E-invoice కదా.
Welcome back. So as we told, we'll complete by 5. So now it is 4:15. I'll take half an hour for e-invoicing. So we'll have a brief understanding of what is e-invoicing. Few issues I'll only raise. If your issue is not covered in my issues, then you can raise at the end of my presentation. So we can close with that. So as we discussed the e-way bill, what is e-invoicing? So what is e-invoicing? Any idea? Whatever we are raising nowadays, it is only electronic form only, na? That is e-invoicing only, na? What is this new concept of e-invoicing? Generated by the portal, generated by the GST portal. So that means the government will give one machine to all the registered dealers and ask the registered dealers to raise invoice through this. Huh? So if that is the thing, there is no question of tax evasion, everything, na sir. That is the best thing one can do. Will it happen in India? They'll give all systems in India for every registered persons. Once they registered, boss, this any invoice you are generating, you use this machine to generate invoice. Whatever invoices generated to this machine only valid, other invoices under invalid. So once you generate this invoice to this machine, it will go to government. So you need to pay tax on all those invoices. So will it happen in India? This is e-invoice then. So now what is e-invoice means is the same thing you are telling. So government will keep one portal. We need to raise invoices through that portal. So whatever invoices we raise it through that portal, government will know that these are the invoices raised. Tax needs to be paid. Clear? So completely wrong. So in India, it will take a few more years, whatever your understanding comes into reality. So e-invoice means electronic invoice. So no concept of government providing any application, government providing any software to raise invoice under. We need to raise our own invoice using our own software. But for authentication purpose, we are intimating to department. We are intimating to department that authentication is called that e-invoicing as we are discussing now. You didn't understand? So we'll show. This is how present invoicing formats are there. Few people are using Tally, few people are using QuickBooks, few people are using SAP. So many software, so many people are using. What is this e-invoicing saying that? Boss, whatever software you are using, you input whatever software, but output should be one uniform format, so that any system understand that format. You got it? So you use Tally, you use SAP, you use Winman, you use QuickBooks, you use Zoho Books, whatever software you are using, irrespective of your software, the invoice, whatever you have generated, it will be your own format. But for e-invoice, what they are saying, that format should be understood by any system in India. So that format, I need to generate that format. So if you generate in that format, the recipient can easily read. The recipient also uses SAP, or he uses Tally, he uses Zoho Books, whatever it is. By scanning that QR code, whatever you put it on the invoice, straight away he can able to pass it in his books of entry. He can straight away, you can pass it, entry in his books of accounts. No need of any manual intervention. One more time. E-invoice is nothing but invoice raised by your respective software. If you are using Excel, you use Excel. If you are using Tally, use the same Tally. Same thing you continue. But before sending into the client, you authenticate that by intimating to department. How that authentication happens? By way of uploading in e-invoice portal. So whatever invoice, so you can follow your own serial, your own format. For example, if you are using format of ABC/2223/005/006 like that, you follow the same thing. You need not to follow some specific format. Same thing you can continue. But whatever you are following, you just intimate to department, government, by way of portal, e-invoice portal. Once you intimate to government will put one tapal saying that this invoice is authenticated. The tapal is nothing but the 64 digit, something called as IRN, invoice registration number. So once you get back that tapal, means, boss, this is not fake transaction, this is genuine transaction. This transaction is a registered transaction. So he has to pay tax on this. This is e-invoicing, that's all. So now we'll discuss about how to generate, what is the who and all exceptions are there. That discussion we'll do. So from 1st October, earlier and all, it started with 500 crores turnovers from 1st October 2020. Now the last month they brought back to 10 crores. From April, they're planning to bring 5 crores. So after that, we don't know whether government will make it mandatory for all SSCs, or it will stop with 5 crore turnover left. So e-invoice is mandatory for all SSCs whose turnover exceeds 10 crore rupees. 10 crores, which amount, which year we need to see? From GST starting, not last year. Generally, they everywhere they keep set as last year taxable last year aggregate turnover and all. But for this e-invoicing, they are taking from starting 2017-18 onwards. Any year exceeds, you need to. Sir, none of our clients are turnover of 10 crores. So can I leave this session? It will be reduced to 5 crores. We don't know. They may bring it to everyone. So better knowing before The provision implements to everyone. So that is the reason you can stay here. So these are the objectives. So in this one thing we need to keep it in mind. E-invoicing is mandatory for B2B invoices. B2B, not B2C. Like last session we discussed, it is variable is based on the value of the consignment. It is not B2B or B2C. Value of the consignment is more than 50,000 means you need to raise variable. Here B2B or B2C important. B2B e-invoice is required. B2C e-invoice is not required. But there is something called dynamic QR code. Dynamic QR code. What do you mean by dynamic QR code? Means if you go to hotels and all, after when they bring bill and all, they'll keep one QR code scanner. So that QR code scanner, if you scan it, directly amount also will come. You need not to mention amount. 372 rupees means 372. You need not to mention. You just need to mention your PIN. That's all. It will get debited. That is the dynamic QR code. Based on your bill value, that scanner will come. That QR code itself will contain the data of how much amount, how much to be debited from the recipient and all. That is called as dynamic QR code. Dynamic QR code is only applicable for those whose turnover is more than 500 crores for all B2C supplies. So now we are not discussing about dynamic QR code for B2C supplies whose turnover is more than 500 crores. So we are discussing about e-invoicing. E-invoicing is only applicable for B2B transactions only. Is there any value limit for e-invoicing? No. Even 2 rupees also we need to raise e-invoicing. If it is B2B invoice, 2 rupees also we need to raise e-invoice. 1 rupee also we need to raise e-invoice. Clear?
Exempted goods should be.
Exempted goods we need to raise bill of supply. So e-invoice will come only for tax invoice. That's why in the last session I asked whether if you supply taxable goods, exempted goods, whether we can raise the tax invoice come bill of supply. Separate. For tax invoice, we need to raise e-invoice. For bill of supply, we need not to raise any e-invoice. So who are all exempted from e-invoice? E-invoice is not required by goods transport agency. So supply services by way of admission to a exhibition of cinematographic films. Supplier providing passenger transport service, insurance, banking company, including NBFC, SEZ units. So all these people not required to go for e-invoicing provisions. SEZ units only. SEZ developer, they need to follow e-invoicing. Even goods transport agency people, in addition to transportation, they'll do this warehousing services, all other services. For those services, they need to follow e-invoicing. Only for transportation service only they have given an exception. So all other services, they need to follow it. Clear? Sir, e-invoice needs to be issued by me. For example, for a supplies done by me to you. If I didn't follow e-invoice, what is the problem? Huh? Recipient ki ITC రాదు. నేను 1 లో వేసాను సార్, మీ GST 2 లో కనపడింది. ఈ-ఇన్వాయిస్ ఇవ్వలేదు. ఎవరికి పెనాల్టీ? నాకా మీకా? సెల్లర్ కా? ఓకే, బయ్యర్ కి ఏం ప్రాబ్లం లేదు. ITC 2 వేసాను, GST 1 లో వేసాను. సో 2B లో కూడా వచ్చింది. 2A if 2A అంటే 2B వచ్చినట్టే ఇంకా. So if you see the provision of Rule 48, every invoice issued by a person to whom sub-rule 4 applies in any manner other than the manner specified in the said rule shall not be treated as an invoice. That means if I issue any invoice other than e-invoice, it is not at all invoice. It is only paper, piece of paper. So if you were availing input tax rate, section 16 tells 5 conditions. In that one condition is you should have tax invoice. So if this fellow, instead of raising invoice, he didn't raise invoice, means it is just piece of paper. Then they'll ask the customer, boss, based on piece of paper, how can you avail input tax credit? Sir, how I know, sir? I have 500 vendors who is required to e-invoice, issue invoice or not. So e-invoice website is there. There, if you go and mention your vendor GST number, then it will show whether vendor is enabled for e-invoice or not. If he is enabled for e-invoicing, then he should issue invoice. Then you ask vendor, boss, as per this thing, you need to raise e-invoice. Why you are giving manual invoice? You got it? So this is the serious thing as far as e-invoice is concerned. Even if you have, even if he didn't give invoice and upload it in his GSTR1 and it appearing in your GSTR2A and 2B, then department can question as per section 16, whatever paper he has given, it is not at all a invoice. So when I remembering this last year, there is a circular by CBIC saying that any communication from the central government office with respect to GST should have DIN number on the letter. Even the mail also, whatever you are receiving from the CGST department, it should mention the DIN number. DIN number means document identification number. What our finance minister Nirmala Sitharamanji told, if you don't have DIN number on any notice given by government, throw it in the dustbin. You can treat it as a waste paper. So from our office, whenever we receive any reply, we are giving any reply to notice, first thing I'll tell to all employees, see whether DIN is there or not. I'll straight away write in the first para itself, as per this circular, DIN should be there. So I am not bound by reply to this letter. If the client is very much conservative, sir, why to pull their leg and all, sir? If the client says that, then we'll write that. First para will write that thing only. We are not bound to reply that thing. Being a law-abiding SSC, we are replying like this. You got it? First, we should inform. Simply, we are keep on saying that, okay, whatever mistakes we did, they can find out and they can levy penalties and all. We can't able to identify their mistakes. We can't able to point out their mistakes or what. So you see, from 1st August, I think, from 1st August 2022, DIN is mandatory for all the correspondence by state government also. Andhra Pradesh is one of the first 5 states which is implemented DIN for all communications by SGST department. So that means CGST 2 years back only they have implemented, SGST they have implemented 3 months back. So now onwards, anything, simply they'll ask to file you, they'll ask you to bring returns for verification. Anything, any information, you see whether DIN is there or not. If DIN is not there, you mention as per this circular, this is not an official communication, or as per this circular, it should have been. If it is not done, we can consider it as there no communication happened. You got it? So once we like e-invoicing we are discussing, I got that point in mind. So it is useful on all your correspondence with the department.
And e-invoice all.
Hmm.
E-invoice, e-month lo reason only. Invoice e-invoice
Valid. So those, for example, earlier under that e-invoice portal is accepting all the earlier period invoices also. If someone is not generated for earlier period means, and he has given only physical invoices means, so ask him to register now in e-invoice portal and give the all the invoices, raise the all invoices, e-invoices in the e-way bill portal now. So he can do it. Even the e-invoice portal is accepting for last year invoices also to upload now. So you can upload it. But that we'll discuss a little later. One more thing. Those who are exempted from the e-invoicing provisions, they need to mention in the invoice saying that by this notification, we are not required to give e-invoicing. For these banking units, all these people, GTA people, everyone, they can mention saying that last month they have given amendment saying that you need to give a declaration on the invoice saying that you are not required to raise e-invoice. So what and all should be there in e-invoice? So normal things only. Invoice type, whether it is a registered invoice, B2B invoice, SEZ with payment, without payment, export with payment, without payment, deemed export. So those are the things should be there in the e-invoice type. So invoice code. So it will be auto-generated. Invoice code will be, invoice type code will be auto-generated. Supplier GST invoice number. So one more thing, invoice number should not be more than 16 digits, 16 characters. So you need to keep it in mind. So many people still using some hyphen, everything. They'll write some 20 characters and all they're writing. So whether it is invoice, whether a GST while typing the invoice number, it will take only 16 characters. Characters means even dot, slash, all those things will be considered as a character. Maximum length should be 16. Space should not be allowed. Space is not allowed in invoice number. State code of these things. So e-invoice is mandatory for B2B supplies, I told. In addition to B2B supplies, even exports also it is mandatory. So B2B supplies plus exports. So e-invoice is mandatory for exports also, whether you do it with payment or without payment. Anything you need to raise the e-invoice. So what are the documents? So tax invoice, we need a e-invoice. Debit note, any debit note raised by vendor, we need to give e-invoice. Credit note, anything we have given, we need to raise e-invoicing. Once we fall in the threshold of this e-invoice, all the invoices, all the debit notes, all the credit notes which you are giving, you need to raise in the e-invoice portal and update in e-invoice portal, even debit note or credit notes also. How this process will happen? So first this process will happen in. So if I can able to tell this e-invoice how in layman language, if you go to DMart, we buy some goods worth some 1,000 rupees worth goods, consisting of some 15-20 goods and all. He will put the 20-30 goods in the cover and he will give. While coming out from the departmental store, that security fellow, he will see the invoice like this and he will see the cover. Then he will put one stamp and he will give it to you, the delivered stamp. He won't see each item, whether this carrot, how much is there, or every tick, he won't put tick under. General, I'm telling. So here in e-invoice also, the government is doing the job of that security guard who is putting the stamp of delivered. You got it? For example, this laptop GST rate is 18%. I raised an invoice saying that laptop worth 60,000 and raised invoice for 12% and upload it in e-invoice portal. Then e-invoice portal won't say that, boss, this is laptop, it is 12%, it is 18%, why you raise 12% and all. It won't know that whether you are doing correct or not. It will only check whether this invoice already raised or not. Only few things it will check. It won't check the correctness of your transaction. Clear? The security guard, he won't check each item whether it is correct or not. He just check whether it is and putting it delivered stamp, and he will give it to you. The government also will do the same thing. So he will check whether this invoice already came or not came. So then whether buyer details are correct, GST number is correct or not. So few things it will check. Straight away it will give 64 digit IRN number plus QR code, and it will give it back to you. That's all. It won't check whether you have applied the correct rate, whether you are sending to a correct address of the buyer, you are sending to some other address of the buyer. So it will check whether GST number of the buyer is correct or seller is correct. That's all. All addresses, whatever you have given, it won't check. You got it? It is only authentication of the transaction. It is not a verification of the transaction. Clear? So now how this process will happen? Process will happen first, whatever details we told, invoice number, invoice supplier GST numbers, supplier address, recipient GST number, recipient address, value of the goods, tax amounts, HSN of the goods, all these details you need to upload it to IRP. So from our portal to IRP portal. So from our portal to IRP portal, how we can upload? So now most of the softwares, they are providing e-invoice supporting. So Tally and all, if you click it one button, that e-invoice module, Tally ERP9, if you take it, they are giving with e-invoice module. So if you click the button after generation of your invoice, all the data from your portal Tally to it will upload it to IRN portal. IRN portal, once data validates, it will give back the data with the QR code plus IRN number, 64 digit IRN number, QR code plus IRN number. Sir, I don't use Tally. I'm generally raising invoice in Excel. Every invoice I will do in Excel. What I should do? So for those people who doesn't have any software for generation of Excel XMLs and all, they have given Excel utility. In that Excel utility, you need to key in the data and generate a JSON file. JSON file needs to be uploaded to IRN portal. Then IRN portal will give back PDF form of your invoice with the QR code and 64 digit IRN. Got it? So two things. If your software allows to uploading of data from your software to IRN portal, you can use it that. If your software doesn't have that facility of uploading of data from your software to IRN portal, then you can use the Excel utility given by the government and generate JSON file. That JSON file you can upload it in IRN portal. Once you upload it in IRN portal, the government will verify whether this transaction already there or not. So they will verify the correctness of totals, whether taxable value plus GST, everything put together is total invoice value or not. So then they will give back saying that this is validated, and they will give along with the QR code and 64 digit IRN. The first process from our side we need to do. The second process system only will do. So once you upload the data in IRN straight away sends back the data to your GST portal. Was this fellow raised one invoice to Mr. X, to Mr. Y. So this is the value of the goods. You record it in your GSTR1. That means from IRN portal to straight away on real-time basis, it will go back to GST portal, the data. GST portal will take normally 1 day for updating of that information. So whenever you raise any invoice, the same day it will go to GST portal. GST portal will auto populate in your GSTR1 that data. Once it is uploaded in your GSTR1, the same thing will be auto populates in GSTR2A of the buyer. So first process only we need to do. Second process, the portal itself will do. First process means uploading of information from our accounting portal to GSTN IRP portal, from IRP portal to GSTN portal, and GSTN portal to our GSTN portal to our customers GSTN portal, that by way of GSTR2A, everything will be done by the government portal only. This is what 64 digit, how they will generate? They'll generate based on the seller's GST number. What is the document type, document number, what is the financial, based on that one, that 64 digit number will be generated. Sir, my software allows me to print that QR code and IRN on the invoice. Is it fine, or I need to download from IRN portal that QR code and all? So if your software allows you to print a QR code in the invoice, means you can follow that thing. If your software doesn't have that concept of printing of QR code or QR code or IRN in the invoice, means then you need to get a printout of the E-invoice generated in the E-invoice portal. One thing is mandatory, QR code is mandatory. IRN you need not to print on the invoice. QR code compulsory need to be printed. So if you scan the QR code, IRN code you can easily make out. In that IRN code it will come. Scanning of E-invoice. There is an app in the normal Apple and Google for the scanning of this E-invoice. So you can use that to scan any invoice. If you scan that E-invoice, you will have the details of seller's GST number, recipient GST number, what is the invoice number, date of invoice, what is the HSN code, what is the invoice value. All those details we can able to find out by scanning the QR code of the E-invoice. So like e-way bill, you can't amend the E-invoice also. Once you generate any E-invoice, straight away you can't change any details in the E-invoice. Sir, some mistake happened. What I should do? We are all human beings, so we'll make mistakes. You should cancel within 24 hours. Sir, 24 hours also over. What I should do? Huh? So if you 24 hours also over, means that data will be auto populated in your GSTR1. So that from there you delete that whatever invoices wrongly uploaded. And meanwhile, you just intimate to department saying that this invoice we have not generated, or this invoice is cancelled after 24 hours. Why I am saying to intimate to department? Because there is two provisions in GST. Normal period of limitation and extended period of limitation. So 3.5 years is the normal period of limitation. 5 years is the extended period of limitation. So if it is there any fraud, omission, mistake, commission and all is there, means they'll imply 5 years of extended period of limitation. If you don't have any things, they will give notice under 73. If you have fraud, everything and all, they'll give up to 5 years in section 74. So if you intimate all these things now, at the end of like when you have any notice from department after 2, 3, 4 years and all, it will be evidence for you to prove your genuineness.
E-invoice GST number E-invoice generate. So GST1 నేను modify చేసి GST number కరెక్ట్ నెంబర్ ఇచ్చి GST1 ఫైల్ చేసి GST1 కరెక్ట్ చేసి ఫైల్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. సేమ్
కరెక్ట్. March. Anything you can change it. So while filing your GSTR1, you can change anything. But the only worry is whenever you're doing changes to that thing, you should have sufficient proof that why you have done that thing. So if something like if you are canceling, for example, one invoice cancelled after 24 hours, those cases it is better you can intimate. పర్వాలేదు.
ఒకసారి క్యాన్సిల్ చేసాను సార్, మళ్ళీ ఇన్వాయిస్ నెంబర్ మళ్ళీ వాడకూడదు లేదు ఇలా.
You can't use same invoice number after cancellation. Then you need to use the next number only. So now what we should do? We should categorize all our vendors who are required to issue e-invoice or who are not required to issue e-invoice. Those who are required to issue invoice, whether they are issuing invoice or not, we need to check it. We need to change in all our ERP systems by way of how we should raise invoice and training and all we should give to all our employees. So this is the thing as far as e-invoice is concerned. We'll ask few questions, then we'll conclude this. Whether e-invoicing is applicable for branch transfers. So first thing we need to ask, which branch transfer, whether it is intra-branch transfer or inter-branch transfer, whether it is same GST or different GST. Whether it is same GST within the same state means it is not at all a supply. Once it is not at all a supply, there is no tax invoice. Once there is no tax invoice, there is no question of e-invoice. Clear? So there is something different from e-invoice and e-way bill. So if it is different state, then we need to raise the tax invoice. Along with tax invoice, we need to raise e-invoice also. Whether export of exempted products needs to comply e-invoicing. So exports, it is compulsory to raise e-invoicing. Whether you are exporting taxable goods or exporting exempted goods, no question. So compulsory e-invoice to be required for export of any goods. Is it mandatory to print QR code? What is the size of QR code to be printed on the invoice? So it is mandatory to print a QR code. It is optional to print IRN. So QR code, it is mandatory. So if you print QR code, by scanning that QR code, IRN can be known. Size of the QR code, it should be, they have not specified any specific size. So it should be suitable for the purpose of scanning. So you can able to scan that whatever QR code it is there. So no size is specifically mentioned. Whether e-invoice required for other than transportation service provided by GTA. So GTA only transportation service, they have given exemption. So other than GTA services, anything like warehousing services, rental services, and they need to raise the e-invoice. Whether e-invoice can be done if turnover is less than the prescribed limit. So if it is my turnover is only 2 crores, whether I can raise e-invoice. No option, they are not allowing only. So if your turnover is less than 5 crores, you're not enabled with e-invoice system. So portal won't enable you e-invoice at all. So no question of generating e-invoice. It is not like way bill. Year ki option లేదు. చేస్తే ప్రాబ్లం లేదు. Enable చేయట్లేదు. So if you request that portal, they are enabling. So you are not required, but you can opt to do this. But generally portal is not enabling. You need to raise a request, separate request raise cheste, then it will enable. Aggregate turnover includes exempted turnover. So this 5 crores, 10 crores, whatever is there presently, limit for e-invoicing, Aggregate turnover means what and all will cover? Taxable turnovers, exempt turnovers, zero rated turnover. Exempt means nil rate only. Na? No taxable? Not taxable included or not? Not included. Aggregate turnover. This petrol bunks and all, why they registered? Whether they'll sell engine oil for more than 20 lakhs, normal petrol bunks. I'm not talking about big petrol bunks. That it should be included for aggregate turnover calculation. Everything, non-GST, GST, exempted, taxable, everything. So that's the reason all these petrol bunks, even though their engine oil sales under is less than 20 lakhs, they'll still register because their petrol sales will be more than 20 lakhs. So aggregate turnover definition talks about exempted, taxable, not GST, everything. PAN based. Whether e-way bill needs to be generated separately in addition to e-invoice. Yes. So in the e-invoice portal itself, they have given an option. Once you raise e-invoice, you can mention the directly part A, it will be filled by the e-invoice portal only. Part B, that means vehicle number only we need to fill in the e-invoice portal. E-invoice portal only we can raise the way bill also. We need not to go to way bill portal at all. And they're planning to take out this way bill only. In case of all e-invoices, they want to remove the way bill concept. Because anyhow, you are telling all e-invoice means in the e-invoice only, they want to add this vehicle part B in the e-invoice itself, so that they can remove those who are required to issue e-invoice, no need to generate a way bill. Presently, there is no such exemption is there. Even you need to carry way bill also. But planning in future, those who are required to generate e-invoice, so they are planning to remove the way bill concept. No, that then they'll implement like this some other concept. What are the consequences for non-complying e-invoice provisions? So we discussed this. So it is not an invoice, it's just piece of paper. Whether single e-invoice can be generated for multiple invoices. No such question. So one invoice, one e-invoice. So no concept of generating multiple invoice, one e-invoice. Is there any time limit for generation of e-invoice? Is there any time limit? So Act doesn't have any time limit. That is the reason many people are generating last year e-invoices also now. So Act, there is nowhere mentioned time limit for the purpose of when you need to generate e-invoice. But generally, they are saying, like few people are saying 72 hours. So within 72 hours, you better generate e-invoice. Now the worry is, for example, you are required to generate e-invoice, but you didn't generate e-invoice. You send the goods to your customer by raising way bill. No, in between officer caught that consignment. Then that consignment has invoice, way bill, everything. Then the officer can imply the provision of 48(4), saying that whatever invoice is there, that is not an invoice. You are transporting the goods without invoice. Once you are transporting the goods without invoice, then I can go for detention proceedings under section 129. 200% of tax amount as penalty I can levy. This is what happened recently in one of our client case. They got the GST number. They searched in e-invoice portal. E-invoice portal. They searched e-invoicing is enabled for the client. So what the client is doing for all 5 days, 6 days and all, he is raising e-invoices at one day. So anyhow, e-invoice portal is enabling. He is doing every day for every invoice why I should enter and all. He is raising once in 5 days, once in 4 days, like that. So now this officer caught this vehicle and he is saying that you are transporting the goods without invoice. So then we replied saying that boss, this is only procedural thing. we paid the taxes, everything. We have e-invoice, e-way bill, everything, and all. Know that issue is in appeal. So this is small issues which create serious problems. Which date would be considered in GSTR1? IRN date or document date? Document date is 15th November. IRN generated today. So what date will be there in GSTR1? 15th November only will be there. Document date only. I can generate a e-invoice at any time. Any monetary limit is there for generation of e-invoicing, like 50,000 for way bill? No such monetary limit is there. So even 2 rupees, 3 rupees also, once it is enabled for all your B2B supplies, for all your invoices, debit notes, credit notes, for all your exports, you need to generate e-invoice. Is e-invoice compulsory needs to be carried by transporter? So digital at least should be there. So physical not required. Even digital is accepted by the department. Even the rules also changed. Digital is also okay. So if you have that e-invoice on which that QR code can be scanned by the department officer, and he can see whether the details mentioned there and what are mentioned in the e-way bill proper or not, then he can release the conveyance. So that's all my questions. Any questions from your side? No. So everything understood or what? E-invoice or e-way bill? So any doubts other than e-invoice, e-way bill also you can ask. I can clarify to the extent what I know. Because I am practicing only indirect taxes, so you can ask any doubts in indirect taxes at least.
Department asking one information. Suppose P&L account they are asking. They are not paid reverse charge on a flight, particular flight.
Correct.
The intimation DS01A tax interest with a penalty. Under section 74. It covered on 73 or 74. My doubt is information provided by us. Based on the verification they found. So they give the demand under section 73 or 72.
One thing, SGST departments, some cases they are giving 73. Most of the cases they are giving 74 only. CGST departments, 99% they'll give and 74 only. So no question of 73. So whatever we do, as per them, if they have not verified this, they might not got this thing. So this is by you, this is mistaken by you, this is fraudulently done. That is the thing they'll use those things. So whenever you have given P&L and based on the P&L they have given means, you can straight away ask them that you can consider it in 73. And one more thing, as you told, it is only DRC01A they have given. Since they have not given show cause notice itself, then you can pay back that amount and you can apply for that 73 concept. So they won't give the show cause notice also. If you pay that and intimate them, all the proceedings will get closed with that. That they will give. But what we can reply saying that, so as per 73, 10% is the penalty. So before show, that is after show cause notice. In our case, show cause notice not as issued. So I am paying in tax and interest. So as per section 73, since I have paid the amount plus interest before issuing the show cause notice, so please close my proceedings. They will give. So they will give. If you see, most of the notices we got in recent last 1 year, 26 years versus service tax returns. Many notices I have seen. So 26 years you will have so much turnover. In service tax we will have only taxable turnover. straight away they'll say that 26 AS is having turnover of 15 crores. You are showing in service tax return only 5 crores and all. There could be exempted turnover, there could be trading of goods, whatever, so many things will be there. You can't compare both and you can say that it is fraudulently tax not paid and all. There are many judgments saying that once you have reported the transaction, the books of accounts, once it is a public information, it is there in your books of accounts, it is there in your financial statements, no question of fraud. So considering that, and one more thing, if you pay it now itself, it is better for you to avail input tax credit. Otherwise, if they start proceedings under 74, then there is a restriction under section 17 subsection 5 for availing credit of 74 paid amount. So now it is better you pay it and avail the credit. Anyhow, reverse charge, na? But they'll raise one more issue that you are not eligible for input tax credit and that you need to fight it in separate, saying that for reverse charge, payment voucher or self-invoice as per section 31(3)(f). Self-invoice is the date on which I have made the payment. So if I'm making the payment of reverse charge today, means from now onwards, next November 30th, I can avail input tax credit.
Even for that expenditure related to previous year.
Yes, you can avail it. Yes, sir. Because reverse charge we can avail credit based on payment only. Self-invoice. 31(3)(f), self-invoice when I should raise. When I'm making the payment, I'm making the payment today. I'll raise invoice today, self-invoice. So for today's invoice, when I can take credit up to next November 30th. Or still we are in September 30th, September return. Where are we? Huh? When can, up to when we can avail input tax credit? 30th November.
Any return filed before 30th November.
October return filed 28th November, which is not filed within 20th November because due date is 20th November for October return. I filed on 20th November. Can I avail 21-22 credits, sir? Huh? 20th or 30th, sir? 28th. అవును సార్. సో 21-22 క్రెడిట్స్ నేను దాంట్లో తీసుకోవచ్చా? అప్ టు డేట్ ఆఫ్ ఓకే. నౌ అక్టోబర్ రిటర్న్ 3rd December ఫైల్ చేశాను. రైట్. ఓకే, రైట్. So whatever return you file before 30th November, that is important. So before 30th November, you should file the return. Which return and all not required. Before 30th November, whatever return you filed, in that you need to take credit. So this is the difference between earlier provision and now. Earlier provision 30th September return. September return, due date of September return. That means 20th October could be there earlier. So now they changed it to 30th November, fixed date. So they don't link to due date of any return. 9 ki అలాగో 31st December కదా సార్. పిక్చర్ ఈజ్ ఎర్లియర్. అది ఉంది. బట్ 9 లో క్రెడిట్ క్లెయిమ్ చేసే కాన్సెప్ట్ లేదు కదా. డేట్ ఒకటే లింక్ చేస్తున్నాడు అంతే. అదే డేట్ ఆఫ్ ఫైలింగ్ ఆఫ్ 9 ఆర్ 30th November, whichever is earlier. So they link it the date of annual return, but they won't tell that you can claim credit in annual return. Adi. తీసుకో 1 year అట్ట కడతా, 1 year కట్టే తీసుకో. There is nowhere specifying that DRC paid amount paid through DRC cannot be availed as input tax credit. You can avail input tax credit. DRC is a mode of payment. Instead of paying in the GST 3B, you paid through DRC 03. DRC 03, the name itself suggests that it is a voluntary payment. So you are just paying through that mechanism. Any other queries? Okay, thanks all of you for your patience listening. So you need to bear me for one more day. Tomorrow afternoon also I will be coming. So for tomorrow we'll discuss about 9C reconciliation statements. Morning Sudhir will be taking care of annual return things. I will be taking care of 9C requirement, 9C things. So if any queries are there, so you can keep it for tomorrow also. So as promised, I completed mostly by 5 a.m. only, 5 p.m. only. So thanks Vijayawada branch for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Stop in there. So, okay, thank you, Rajesh Garu, and thank you all of you for attending this session. I hope all of us will meet tomorrow for the sessions on 9 and 9C. So, Maddi Rajesh Garu, thank you very much. The moment of the session will be given tomorrow.